This is the human heart. Central to our physical body, our survival, revered by poets throughout history as the emotional center of our being. The place we instinctively touch when asked to point to ourselves. And now, what we have known intuitively is being understood scientifically. Researchers are unlocking a new science of the heart that could change everything we know about health and our interconnected nature. Coherence is a state of balance between heart, mind, and emotions, creating a favorable cascade of neural, hormonal, and biochemical events that benefit the entire body. But this phenomenon not only benefits us personally, it affects everything around us, emitting an electromagnetic field that can be measured up to 3 feet outside of the body. When you are in coherence, your heart resonates at the same frequency as the Earth's magnetic field. This frequency positively affects everything around you. When a group of people are in coherence together, this effect is magnified. Could communities synchronized in coherence lower violence, accelerate cooperation, and global harmony? This is the purpose of the Global Coherence Pulse. If we can measure the impact of thousands of people in coherence at the same time, it could lead to a breakthrough in understanding the full potential of the human heart. All you need to participate is your presence and your heart. To take it to the next level, join the research study by downloading the app and getting an HRV monitor to measure your personal coherence. The world needs it more than ever before. Each human heart is unique and magnificent by itself. But imagine what could be possible when we unify.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, beloved friends. Welcome to this month's Global Coherence Pulse. My name is Teresa Collins, and I am the host today for this special pulse. And gosh, my heart just gets so tender when I start to see where we're coming from all around the world. We have Germany, Nebraska, Berlin, Calgary, Canada, Florida. We're in Japan, Denmark, gosh, Florida, Oregon, Portugal, Canada, all around the world, Wales. It's so wonderful to see such a global community response to these monthly pulses. And today is our 44th Global Coherence Pulse. We started back March of 2020, and we've been going ever since. And I was talking with Roland McCready and our team with the Global Coherence Pulse yesterday, and they've been going back and looking at, has there been some impact from our pulses? And he said yesterday that we have registered a consistent impact with all of our pulses. And that's because of you. Your heart-centered presence and participation have an impact. And it's not just during these pulse sessions, but we're really understanding that each and every moment that the quality of our presence has an impact on the whole of life. And I personally believe, and that's why I'm doing the Global Coherence Pulse and the Islands of Coherence Network, that cultivating greater coherence in the heart of our lives is one of the greatest gifts that we can give to the whole of life. So I want to start today by thanking you for taking time out of your day to add your love and care into this community field and into the world. It really makes a difference. And whether you're here live right now or you're listening to the recording, your heart-centered participation matters. We had over 1,000 people register for the call today. So I'm really excited whether you're here now, right, with us live, or you're listening to the recording afterwards. Your presence and your participation in this really, really matters. So thank you. Thank you for coming. Each one of our Pulse events, we feature a different partner organization or thought leader and musicians. And they're people that we feel are cultivating greater coherence in the heart of their own lives, in the communities that they're serving, and in the world. And we invite them to come on to join their heart with ours as we use this time together to nourish ourselves, which is so important right now, that we take time out of our day, out of our lives, to really do things that nourish us, and then pulse the planet with that loving energy that we generate together, because our collective love really is potent. So today's session is going to go 90 minutes, and it will include some wisdom sharing and a synchronized meditation with us all together, some music, and special announcements. And our guest today, I'm very excited, is from the Gene Keys, which is a system and teaching and community of practice that is part of my own lineage of passion and purpose, and has aided me greatly in my own self-discovery. The Gene Keys are a new teaching that has come through specifically for these times, and they contain an algorithm of human transformation and help to unlock the wisdom and genius hidden inside all of us. And the theme today is the nature of prosperity. And our hosts are going to be using one of the core sequences in the Gene Keys, the Pearl sequence, to guide us in this exploration. This topic for me is so relevant in these times. And I imagine that many of us are considering, how can we best serve in this time? Asking questions like, what is my unique contribution to a future fueled by love? What do I need to fulfill my purpose? And who are my ideal partners and teammates in fulfilling my purpose? So our hosts today are going to take us on that little exploration. I'm going to ask them all to turn on their cameras, and I'm going to go ahead and introduce them to you, and we're going to get started on our beautiful exploration today. So first we have Richard Rudd, who's the founder of the Gene Keys. And Richard experienced a state of spiritual illumination in his early 20s, in which he was shown a great tapestry of interrelated truths. And this catalyzed his spiritual search. All his studies became synthesized in 2002 when he began to write and receive the Gene Keys, a vast synthesis exploring the miraculous possibilities inherent in human DNA. It took him 7 years to write the book, which if you don't have the book, I really highly recommend that you get it. It is a beautiful tome. And it took him that time to do the book and understand its teachings and applications. And today, Richard continues to extend and embody the wisdom he receives, sharing it with an ever-growing audience around the world. And it's being translated in many languages. And in 2019, Richard was named on the Watkins list of the 100 most spiritually influential living people alive. Love that. Richard, I'm so glad you got that acclaim. And then we have Tanmayo, who's joining us from tomorrow. I always love connecting with her. She's always tomorrow. Lets us know how beautiful it is. And Tanmayo Lawson is a longtime student and teacher of the Gene Keys, an embodiment of many lineages. And she has a rare gift of penetrating into the core of any issue. Her wise counsel and vast heart anchors these teachings deeply into the body, the emotions, and in our everyday lives. Thank you, Tanmayo, for joining us. So happy that you're here. And then we have my dear friend, Elijah. Elijah has dedicated the last decade to integrating the language of the Gene Keys deeply into his life. This has given him a unique ability to transmit profound truths in a spontaneous and elegant manner, as you will see today. Elijah also uses his wide range of technical skills to help create learning systems, online retreats, and expressive arts. Thank you, Elijah, for coming on today. And these three are a synergistic trinity. And as you'll experience today, they represent what's possible when we share our unique gifts authentically and join our genius with others doing the same. And I know that you'll experience that on the session today. And then lastly, our guest artist is Theo Grace. And Theo is a musician, producer, father, husband, and community member in Portland, Oregon. And over the last 8 years, he has produced 10 electronic ambient albums, 2 solo acoustic albums, and is releasing several new conscious pop EDM singles and remixes this year and next. And his music reflects the depth of his heart and also always touches me deeply. I always get tears when Theo plays his music, and I'm sure that will happen for us today. And his music is also featured on many of the audio and video offerings in the Gene Keys. So Theo, thank you so much for coming on today. I love this is such a beautiful family for me. I love you guys all so much. And I really appreciate you coming. And I'm excited that our community is going to get to experience some of your magic. So let's just take a minute before we start with Richard, and let's just all drop in deeply into this present moment. Just settle in wherever you are right now. Maybe just take a couple of deep breaths. Feel the bottom of your feet connected to this glorious planet that we live on, our beautiful Mother Earth. And maybe right now, think of what you're most grateful for. Just think of something in your life that you're really grateful for. And let that feeling of gratitude really open your heart to receive this transmission today and to really allow for the potency of our collective heart to pulse out into the planet, nourishing us and the whole of life. So Richard, I'm gonna spotlight your video. We can all go off camera and we'll spotlight Richard. Thank you so much for coming, Richard. I'm really excited to share you with the community here.
Thank you so much, Teresa, for a lovely introduction. And I love and admire what you're doing with this amazing community. And I'm very honored to be here and share a little of with you around this theme of prosperity and through the lens of what we call the Pearl teachings in the Gene Keys. So I suppose, like for many of us, the big question of our lives and the age is, given the state of the world and where things look like they might be heading, what is the greatest service I can offer in my lifetime to the whole? And that question is the foundation question of these Pearl teachings. And the Pearl and all the Gene Keys teachings are journeys, you know, so you go on a journey, and the journey takes time because you have to absorb the wisdom that's coming in, that you're contemplating, and then it starts to unlock inside you, and then it starts to unlock outside you. And so in that sense, all these Gene Keys teachings are an embodied process. They're about bringing something into the body or activating something within the body. That's why they're called the Gene Keys, because the keys are inside us. They're deep inside our DNA. And so if you're new and you haven't experienced Gene Keys before, essentially they are algorithms. You know, to put it in a modern terminology, they're the algorithms of awakening. and that we contain these algorithms, and they're unique inside each one of us. So an algorithm is a code inside usually in a computer program that unlocks a series of sequences that gives instructions for a program to behave in a specific way. So the algorithms of awakening are the codes that bring us various layers and levels of awakening. And so when you come to Gene Keys, the first algorithm you usually look at really is the algorithm of your purpose. What is my purpose? What is my higher purpose? And then the next one that we often look at is the algorithm of love. So we each have an algorithm for love, and that involves often a journey of healing the trauma and the difficulties and the defense patterns that we've picked up in our childhood that get in the way of us loving. And so there's algorithms for that. And then there's also an algorithm for prosperity. And that's the one that we're kind of exploring at the moment very deeply. And I've been talking all month about it to lots of people and sharing some of the insights that have been coming. So the Pearl is the Gene Keys operate through these sequences. And if you're interested, even now or later, you can go onto genekeys.com and you can log into free profile, get your free profile. And you can put in your data, your birth data and things, and you'll get a response, a chart, a profile, which has these algorithms in. And the third one is called the Pearl. And that's the one I'm going to be just introducing today. And what you'll see is that algorithm comes in a picture of a triangle with 3 spheres in each of the corners, and then a sphere in the middle of the triangle, and lines and pathways that link them all up. And the algorithm itself, the code, is a sequence that unravels that we'll share in the meditation, so you get a kind of embodied feeling of it. But what's amazing about it is that the glyph of this algorithm is actually encoded in every living cell of the universe, because it is the icon of prosperity. It is what I call syntropy, which is that coherent pulse that is just constantly feeding itself back into the same system, which means that system can never leak or run out of energy. All it does is create more energy, because it's sharing constantly with its environment, and then it's triggering other pulses in other life forms all around. So we're all interconnected. Every cell in our body contains this same algorithm, and every cell in a beetle or in a leaf or a tree or anything that's alive has this algorithm. Even the inanimate has this algorithm to a degree, because everything is part of this interconnected living matrix. So it's really a powerful thing just to understand the story of how that algorithm is designed to unlock in all beings, and how we're designed for prosperity. We're designed to prosper. And the foundation of that journey is this question: how can I be of the greatest service to the whole? That's the first and the last question. And so you have to go on asking that question over and over and over again in every quadrant of your life, and applying what comes out, what the universe feeds you back, and your response. You've got to apply that then to your life. So you begin to make adjustments in your life through the answers that come from that question. And it's really what I call the Grail question. It's the question that kind of nourishes everything. And we don't have to there's no sort of kind of cute answer to it, so there's no set of strategies, really, for prosperity. There are strategies for attaining wealth, and accumulating fortune in the material realm, but that's not the same. Prosperity is not the same as wealth. Prosperity is a flow. Wealth is an accumulation. So prosperity is when you might take wealth that's coming in, and you begin to share it, and you share it in really powerful places. And from the very beginning, your whole impetus is not to accumulate it for yourself only, but to go on sharing it. And that's what generates this prosperity that isn't just touching your life, but it's touching the lives of everything around you, because you go on asking that question, how can I be of the greatest service? So even if you're making millions, your question is, how can I be of the greatest service with these millions? Or if you're only making a tiny amount, or if you're not making any money, but you're living just on the earth, like an indigenous person, or or living very simply, you still are living inside that question, how can I be of the greatest service? And it might be just to rescue that ant, or to take care of that water source, or to help your neighbor, or grow a garden. Something, it can be something incredibly simple, and it can be something far-reaching that impacts many, many people. And so there's a spectrum of answers to that question. But your algorithm from your Pearl sequence tells you what yours looks like, specific to you. It's personalized. And so that's what the Gene Keys journey is all about, unpicking your own algorithm. What is it? What does it mean? So I'm going to share my screen just to kind of so you can look at one of these things. Give me a moment. Right. So this is on the right here, where you can see Elon Musk, because we did his Pearl sequence where we thought it'd be fun. Is the triangles and the spheres. And so you can see, for instance, some funny things you can see here in him. And I don't want to do his thing, but I know you'll be curious. So it's ironic in a way that he has stillness at the top and stress. And you can see some of these words right in the core of his being, the Pearl. You can see he has bounteousness. So this is an algorithm that's designed to create an enormous amount of prosperity, and yet it's also designed to be shared really widely. And you can see down in the other places, you can see vocation. That's his vocation, and that's about struggling. It's about overcoming struggle, and then persevering, and then ultimately the highest level would be honor. Now, not everyone lives their highest possible service to the whole. Whether he does or not, it remains to be seen. And then you can see also invincibility as one of, I don't know if you can quite see that if I move it there. Invincibility is part of what's called the sphere of culture. So there's no stopping this guy. And the determination that he has. And what you really see, though, what I want to draw your attention to is these pathways. If you look at the bottom, there's a pathway called initiative, and then there's a pathway going up to the top called growth, and then a pathway finishing called service, and then there's these three pathways to the middle called the quantum. And that's what we're going to explore in the meditation today, these pathways, and kind of bring them alive inside us, so we get an embodied sense of, because of what this feels like. And obviously those numbers in there and those codes that I mentioned, like stress and restraint and perseverance, those are the gene keys. Those are the actual codes. Those are his specific codes in his algorithm sequence. So we each have those. And by the way, on the other side, there's a whole thing about the brand, which I'm not going to go into, the different voices and their levels of impact, because I took this from an advert about the brand, which is a part of how do we express our prosperity. So you can see here's, for example, that is the line 3, because it's the little 3 after the 52. So it's about pleasure. It's about expressing and creating pleasure in the world, and humor. Humor is the way in which that person could actually unlock people in the world to create joy, essentially. Whether he does that again is another question. But those pathways are really important, because when you look at initiative and growth, those are the ones that humans are quite good at. We're very good at creating initiative and growth. But when you look at nature, you'll see that nature has all of these. It has initiative, growth, and service. And without the service, you don't feed back into the system. So it doesn't create the loop that then activates the true nature of the pearl, which is flowering and blossoming, but not just for yourself, but for all creatures, all beings connected to you. So that's the real key. And in a way, that's the new paradigm, is to begin your process with that question, how can I be of the greatest service? And then it feeds through the initiative you take. And then what out of that initiative comes the growth. And then the growth that you're earning and you're making, or you're sharing, your fortune, your good fortune, you immediately feed it back into the system in some way, and to those around you, to those places where it's needed the most, because you're asking that question all the time. How can I be of the greatest service? Because you're asking that question, people are going to be showing up all the time for you to assist with that question. So it's a drawing in of a fractal of allies and humans and beings of all sorts that you can impact in a beneficial way. And as I said, this doesn't have to be a massive kind of Elon Musk type thing for all of us. It can be quite local. It can be quite simple. It depends on each person and their specific algorithms. And that's something that we can only find out for ourselves. So that's really the kind of the epicenter of these teachings. And the pearl, I just finished by saying, the pearl itself, that sphere in the middle, which the whole sequence is named after, if you are able to close this loop, and then you stop energy wastage and leakage, and you prevent decline. If you're able to do that, you prevent decline. Because if you just take the initiative and grow, as we all know, if you go on growing and growing and growing, but you're not feeding back into the system around you, eventually what it is you're growing will decline. It will decay, and sometimes it will explode. The Roman Empire, or whatever you look at, wherever something is grown too strongly in one area, in one way, and it's not being of service, it's not the greatest service, it's stopped being of service because it's only consuming resources from all around it, then it will eventually collapse and fall away eventually, and sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, but it's destined to, because you haven't closed the loop. So you're creating entropy, you're always losing energy, and it becomes less efficient. So the moment you add in that service and you're feeding back into the loop, you generate the energy of that pearl. And what's magic about that pearl is it connects us to the pearls of all other beings. That's why it's a sort of myth, like it connects us to the pulse of life in every other being. So in a way, the whole, thing about the law of attraction and all those things, that actually then comes into true action in your life, because you create the, miraculous things happen, because that pearl is a wormhole. It's right deep in the belly of our being. And it's a wormhole that connects us to the web of life, and it connects us to all beings. So the moment you're operating from that heart place, from that place of service, then you're generating this incredible pulse that goes into the fractal universe and creates tremors and ripples and patterns that we cannot possibly understand. But what we do is we see their effects coming back at us through the quantum field, and they come back at us through good fortune and all manner of fortune and all manner of prosperity. And even the people who are connected to us, who may have had nothing to do with what we were doing or something, they also benefit from our prosperity, because they're connected to us. So it might be your sister or your friend who's having a lot of difficulty because of what you're generating through the pulse of your pearl. You're actually reaching through the tendrils to all kinds of people who are connected to you. And this is called the grace of the guru, or the grace of the divine that starts to move through that activation of the heart center and the coherence that it creates in the cosmos. So you can never, ever, ever second guess the incredible good fortune that can come to you when you keep on asking that question: how can I be of the greatest service to the whole? And then you share from that, and you live from that. So anyway, that's me, and hope that was a helpful introduction.
Thank you, Richard. People are thrilled already. I can see, the flow that I think resonates so much with everyone, that if we actually keep circulating the energy that we generate, circulating our love, our care, our compassion, our genius, that's what's going to create this future that's fueled by love and that's prosperous for all beings. So I loved it. There was definitely some questions in there for you guys. Might have to stay on a little bit afterwards just to answer some questions from people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Before we go into the meditation, I thought we could bring on Theo. Theo, if you turn your camera on and have a little bit of music just to kind of keep opening us up to this flow before we go into our meditation. Theo, so lovely to have you with us. And also, Richard, it's our 44th pulse, which is teamwork and synergy, which is it seems so potent for this particular gene keys right now. Yeah. All right, Theo, how about some music from you, my love?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm reminded of this. Sorry for the reverb. It's more for the music than the talking. But I'm reminded of these meditations I used to do that were all about linking the present moment to abundance and prosperity, and that being in the present moment is actually one of those algorithms of prosperity, because when you connect yourself to the present moment and the infinity, the endless like wellspring of consciousness and all that we're a part of in this present moment, it's kind of hard to as long as you're feeling a part of it, it's hard to not feel how abundant I am, we are. So this song is all about, like many of my songs, is all about being in the moment. So I just wanted to invite people to remember that we are part of something incredibly prosperous. The clouds, I am the sky. I am not the mind, I am the I. Here in a sacred song of a universe alive, can't hold on to anything passing away. I am here experiencing, living today. High highs, low lows, and me in the middle, watching it go. Here comes a fear, oh no, watch it go. Feelings and thoughts, I watch them go. See it all and watch it go. Watch it flow. Well, I am not the memories, I am the one, circling for centuries around the sun, burning up everything, all that needs to be released, expanding beyond the edges of my mind. Stories, seasons, reasons, and rhymes open me up to find it's always been me in the middle, watching it go. Here comes a fear, oh no, watch it go. Feelings and thoughts, I watch them go. See it all and watch it go. Watch it flow. And the sea is to see it, to feel it, receive it. Oh, the secret is to see it, to feel it, and receive it. Oh, the secret is to see it, oh, to feel it, receive it. Yeah, the secret is to see it, to feel it, and release it. 'Cause underneath this fear of mine is the sweetness of life. Oh, underneath this pain inside is the sweetness of life. Oh, the sweetness of life. Oh, and it's growing from the bounteousness of life. Yeah, the sweetness on the tree of life. It's growing right here and now, and it's very, very ripe. So take a piece and take a bite of that fruit that is your life, and it's brand new, and it's here and now, and it's flowing down through you. It's your blood is pumping, your heart is opening, and this sweetness of life is so tasty. So take a bite of your life right now, and we're gonna slow down, gonna drop in deeper with our friend Richard, who's gonna take us on a beautiful meditation. And that was this song that I was sharing for you. Enjoy that sweet, sweet, sweet taste of life.
Ah, love you, Theo. Beautiful. So let's drop into the meditation. We invite Richard and Tanmayo and Elijah to take us on a little journey. Beautiful. All right,
Thank you so
everybody.
much. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Theo. Beautiful to hear your exquisite voice. And so let's just bring our awareness, close our eyes, and just let our awareness begin to sink down inside the body until it just drifts down into the core of our being. It just alights in this one point, this dantian, this center deep in the belly. And each one of us intuitively knows where this point is. It's a point that exists outside of time and space. And it's deep within the core of our being. It's the still point. It's a place to begin all journeys and end all journeys. You can let your being come to complete rest and silence in that hub, the hub of hubs. And everyone also tuning in and listening to this, whether right now or in another now, we're all in this present moment hub. We can't be anywhere else. So in the pearl, the journey begins from this point, this place called vocation. The sphere is called vocation. And it's a wonderful word, vocation. It's about being called. It's about being called by life, being called out, something, some genius, some gift, something we brought with us from the other side before we were even born, that's waiting to be called out from us. And it's going to take us asking this question, how can I be of the greatest service of the whole to the whole, for the response to come from the universe, from someone else, from something else. And our intuition just has to follow that call. And sometimes it comes as just a whisper, you know, amidst the great clamor of our mind and the world and everyone else and all their ideas and opinions and, you know, the stuff of the world. And there's this tiny, tiny, subtle whisper. Come over here. Try this. This is where to begin. And it's such a powerful thing when we hear that whisper. And we have to be still and we have to be quiet for that whisper to come alive in us. And we also have to be aligned. And the part of the body that really aligns to our vocation is our backbone. That's what it is. Our vocation is our backbone. It is our spine. It connects us to between heaven and earth. So tune in a little to your spine. Perhaps you might like to kind of just sit upright a little bit and just let your spine just very gently feel a little ripple of energy moving up your spine, and tune into all those links, those connections, the pathways, the cerebrospinal fluid that's flowing, the pulse that's flowing up and down the spine, the life in the spine, the coming and going of energies from the base to the crown and the crown to the base, and how it nourishes and nurtures every aspect of our being. And that the spine, our relationship to our spine, is our relationship to our core talent in life, our talents, because there may be many. And they emerge from the core and they travel up and down the spine. And this is really where this pathway leads out of us into the world. It's the pathway of initiative. So we have to reach out. That's why it takes some courage to hear that whisper and then respond to that whisper. One thing is to come into stillness and to go into deep contemplation of this question, how can I be of the greatest service to the whole? And we can contemplate that for days and weeks and months, our whole lives. And at a certain point, the calling must come. We have to take the initiative. We have to step out of our comfort zone and create something. And that's where our spine comes alive, because it's our backbone. And even though the action may be small, or the words you use may be subtle, or the change in your direction may be slight, that movement towards service, higher service, that selfless movement, that initiative that grows from your core, it begins an incredible journey in our life. And immediately do that, we are filled with energy. We're filled with this power of why we're here. You know, our spine is why we're here. And so we begin to move in the world in a more fluid way, because we've had the courage and we've taken this bit of creative it may have come as a response to something, but it's flowing from us and we've responded. And that first step into the new, into the unknown, because we followed our heart, that pulse from our heart, that selfless pulse that may seem not logical. It's the correct movement. It's correct. It's in alignment with all that is. It's in alignment with our authentic self. And that's the beginning of our journey. And so wherever you are in life, however blocked, stagnant, you sometimes might feel, or, choked up or deep in a hole, there's always that whisper saying, come over here, do this, light this candle, ignite this little flame, help that person over there. It's sometimes the smallest things that have this incredible power. Save that little spider, even though you're afraid of spiders. It's those little stretches of our being, and sometimes it might be a big stretch as well, that we take that initiative. And then the initiative flies out into the world and it opens up the web. And we move along this pathway and we open up into the next sphere, the sphere of culture. Magical sphere.
And as we open up into that sphere of culture, there is this beauty of initiative that before we go out, we need to come in. We need to come deep inside to listen, to drop away all ideas about culture on the outer world, but move deep, come into our breath, take that sacred breath, this spirit of life, all the way into our belly. And let us just drop in. Let's relax the belly right now. So much of the time in this world where we're wanting to look good with our flat bellies. But in this moment, just allow some spaciousness in that in-breath to expand that cauldron, relax into that out-breath. And just breathe that breath of life into that cauldron where there is so much innate, instinctive wisdom. Make space for that Buddha belly this morning. And as we breathe into this pathway of initiative, let's breathe ourselves into the fullness of the streams of consciousness that are flowing through us. And as we drop deeper into that cauldron and we're already connected to the core, and we open up into the subtle fields of who we are that are also feeding this magnificent biocomputers that we call a body sitting here right now, connected to the planet, allowing our hearts to fly, letting the boundlessness of life, the benevolence of consciousness enter us, that we may dissolve into these greater fractals, these 144,000 fractals filled with this omnipotent, eternal I am, just longing to pour the prosperity of life through us, allowing us to really sit into who am I? What am I here for? What is the greatest contribution of my heart on this day? And this spine that is the spine of the world. It allows us the profound nature of spirit to flow through, guiding us, inviting us to drop deeper into that immediacy of this body with the fullness of his presence, and yet the interdependent nature of it all, connected, completely at one with life. And just take that breath into that deeper, deeper relaxation. Allow your shoulders to relax, dropping all ideas of other and only the fullness of presence of I am, the majestic, eternal flow of initiation that is mine to know and share from this deep listening, from that eternal soup that is there in that cauldron with all of its synarchy and wisdom, its deep feeling nature that is able to touch and sense and taste and smell and know and come to trust in it. Allow ourselves to listen in a way that we trust those inner guidances, those initiatives that are looking to pour through at this glorious time that we are alive. Even as we see a crumbling, there is an arising of consciousness, of spirit, of heartful presence, where we pulse our hearts out in coherence, not only around the planet, to the people that we love, but also to the people that we have forgotten to love, to those that we maybe have opinions of that we're not very happy with right now. And yet allow the benevolent field to hold us all in the majesty that we may never fully understand. And yet, in the master program, in the source code, benevolence is pouring. We can relax into it, lean into it, and simply allow it to bring us into that fullness of the potential that is being asked of our hearts and souls and fractal relationships throughout the known and unknown universes, to fill our souls, to fill our hearts, to touch our throats, to allow our words to travel heartfully as we come to rest in that place of inner culture, of life and love and truth and benevolence. And from there we move further up to that field, along the pathway to the brand, that pathway that really calls us to really use the gifts given to us.
As we grow from this cauldron of the belly, breathing up the spine all the way to the crown of the head. This infinite field of connected energy, this free energy being generated and stimulated in the belly, prospering and flowing and growing, expanding into this field of humming vibration. Every cell, every atom of this incredible body, of this beautiful world, is spinning and vibrating, singing a song of prosperity for all, singing your song, your brand, your work of art that is your life. We are creators and dancers. We're change agents of love. We're the voice and the vision of possibility. We are the sun, infinitely burning, creating this life force. And we are the leaves receiving this light, transforming one into the other, continuing this spiraling, interdependent, interwoven breath. We are invited by life, invited to breathe into our being, to come alive inside every cell with gratitude, with vitality, that this breath is another gift. This moment is another grand grail of possibility. And with every cell is encoded that fundamental pattern of compassion and love. That inside the fluids in between every vertebrae of our spine, inside the cauldron of our belly, inside the brilliance of our awakening mind, we have access to this field of prosperity. Prosperity in our relating, abundance to be in balance amidst turbulent waves, the abundance of loving kindness in our creative ways, the abundance to give to ourselves and one another in honor and celebration of this ever-flowing love. There is enough universal chi in all the space around us. May we drink it in through every pore of our skin, through the roots beneath the waves, through the leaves reaching high into the sky. We get to receive this bounteous growth from the world. And we get to give back in service to the world. Through our challenges and our victories, and through the simplicity of just being, we are designed to serve us, to serve this great we through that which we breathe. And our leaves will curl and fall to the ground, and our fruit will decay and melt. And this too gives back to the soil. Tears of grace fall as we grieve and we breathe. The inhale needs its exhale. This growth needs to serve. Call back to the core of our being, that core question of service. How may I serve this grail? How may I serve the greatest love? How may I be of the greatest service to all? Each individual light on this earth pulses and connects. Our individual journey up and down this mountain is a gift to everyone else. I cannot force or push this light onto others, for that is exhausting and dominating. Cannot hide this light forever, or it will wither and contract. It is breathing balance to these two places, trusting in the space to hold us, trusting in this buoyancy of life, and keeping our eyes open and awake, lucid to all the synchronicities around the world, reminding us we are not alone. We are a web holding this precious planet, this conscious life, in grace and in compassion. We need each individual creative light to shine brightly and smile softly, to allow this abundant growth to fuel and nourish us and to serve each moment. May we serve with our kindness, serve with our art. May we serve with the simplicity of our presence as we listen to the ever-beating heart. This service feeds the world. From here, a quantum portal awaits to the pearl of prosperity within.
What will your service be? Will you be a warrior for injustice? Will you be a gardener planting seeds? What will your service be? What qualities and allies will it gather to itself? These are the questions that can only be answered when we close this loop inside us and we activate this quantum pearl. So feel inside us now, inside you, inside your body, as your awareness rests at the core of your being. Feel the power of closing that loop so that there is no wastage of energy within you. Just the breath, breathing deep, breathing through us, breathing us. Pulsating with if it could speak, it would say, I breathe, therefore I prosper. Hear these words in every cell. I breathe, therefore I prosper. I breathe, therefore I prosper. And know that life only knows this. And that even when things appear to not be prospering, it is simply one of the phases, a decline phase, like when the fruit drops from the tree and the leaves drop from the trees and they nourish the roots once again. This is part of the pattern of life. This is part of the closed loop. There is only a closed loop. It's not possible for there to be anything else. So know that deep inside this truth, that everything is unfolding perfectly, and that the quantum field is endlessly serving itself, serving all beings. And even when we have to move through difficult periods, individually and as species, then even then we can come into this deep trust of the center, that all is well and all will be well. Just need to continue to breathe. Breathing in and breathing out. And breathing in and breathing out. And with this breath comes the lucidity of being in the center, of being in the perfect state of trust, in the perfect place in our journey, following the call of our vocation, seeing the ripples in the culture around us and the growth and our creativity as our true voice, authentic voice emerges in service. And all that's left is to watch the miracles, to bring in the harvest of our trust. And that when we move from this place of trust and deep love and coherence, then miracles occur. We call these the cities, wormholes to grace, secret, hidden algorithms in every human being that can open up portals to the eternal, that can take shortcuts through time and space, that can bring things instantly into manifestation that were long dormant. All manner of extraordinary capacities and abilities lie in the collective of the human nexus. As we begin to work together as one, collectively as a synarchy, then all these potentials awaken inside us. And this is our destiny. This is where we are heading. This is the majesty to which we are moving towards, opening up inside us. So remember this truth, and hug it close to yourself like a precious pearl. And remember it always when you walk in the world. The simplicity of our breath, the beauty of trust, and the awakening of truth in our life through our service and our collectivity. As we step through the portal into this new world, the world of the miraculous, and know that it's coming, that it's here now. And just rest your awareness at the same place where we began the journey, this infinite point deep in the belly. And feel the gentle laughter of ending where we began and beginning where we end. And the theater of our lives and those who will come after us and those who came before us. And this wonderful arc of consciousness and this unfolding journey that humanity is on, and all the creatures that we're connected to, and the plants and the minerals and the sky and the ocean, and all the aspects that we love so dearly coming with us on the journey. And in the words of great mystic Julian of Norwich, I'll finish. That all will be well, and all will be well, and all manner of things will be well.
Let us stay in this beautiful current of prosperity as Theo continues to carry us with some beautiful music.
Leaves are falling from the trees, singing a song. I see you waving back at me, humming along. All we ever have is us, floating down this river. So if you're ever feeling stuck, know my smile lives forever in the earth and sky. Water and light, wind and rain, joy and pain, death and life. In the end, love begins again, walking hand in hand, from here to the other side. When I saw you disappear into the wind, you wrapped the clouds around my fear and told me again, all we ever have is us, floating down this river. So if you're ever feeling stuck, know my smile lives forever in the earth and sky. Water and light, wind and rain, joy and pain, death and life. In the end, love begins again, walking hand in hand, from here to the other side. I breathe, therefore I prosper. I breathe, therefore I prosper again. I breathe, therefore I prosper with life, from here to the other side. With the earth and sky, water and light, wind and rain, joy and pain, death and life. In the end, love begins again, walking hand in hand, from here to the other side. Just had to put that little quote in there that Richard mentioned. Just so beautiful. To prosper by breathing. It's almost too simple.
So beautiful, Theo.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take this energy that we're feeling, this current of prosperity, and right now let's just pulse the planet with this feeling. Letting the unique gift that you naturally are just radiate from within you. That's all. And not just right now in this moment, but every moment, every day. Let the gift that you naturally are just radiate out from your heart in all the simple ways that you can. Thank you guys. That was so, so beautiful. I thought maybe we could take a minute just to see if there's just want to share something with the community, and in the chat, if you would like to share something about your experience so far today, we'd love to see that. And we're going to have a little time to share with you about the Pearl Sequence retreat that's coming up. And maybe these guys will even stay on a little bit at the end and answer any questions if we have them afterwards. All right. So I don't know, maybe Tanmayo, we'll start with you if there's just something that you'd like to share in this moment.
I was just appreciating how we have all these lighthouses around the planet receiving this. And just remembering the exponential prosperity that grows from that, from these little selves that we sometimes think we are when we're in our forgetfulness. But actually there is these enormous living lighthouses that are holding all of this incredible sacred geometry all around the world, connected to the 144,000 fractals.
Beautiful. Thank you, Tanmayo. It's so lovely to have you. Thanks for getting up this morning and letting us know that tomorrow is still bright and shiny. How about you, Elijah?
Yeah, it's so inspiring to feel the fusion of all these different places and modalities and ways and expressions that we come to that one point, or we come to that space. And I'm really just honoring and celebrating today how prosperity has to flow, like health and vitality that we can generate in this vessel and in this body, and how that radiates out with each of you. And so I just really want to honor whatever your magical inspirations and passions that lead you to that state, that feeling, that coherence, that unapologetic but dominating, indomitable love. That's what inspires me and why I like connecting with these different communities. And so may your approach bring you bounteous joy and deep patience and that incredible gentleness that the breath reminds us, even inside turbulent times, especially inside turbulent times. So thanks and for being here.
Thank you, Elijah. I love having you on. I know I've been wanting you to come on for a while, and it's really lovely to see you here and to feel your presence. And I look forward to more from you. Richard, how about you?
Well, I'm loving it, and I'd love to say a few words about the online retreat. We haven't really mentioned it, and you know that the three of us are leading 4 months journey into the Pearl, into your Pearl, through over November, beginning November, and across the new year. So it's a really powerful way to kind of integrate these teachings that we've we've been on the journey today, and to learn about your algorithm in a community, a global community of loving people who are also on the same journey of unlocking their prosperity, and how that looks for each of us, like how we each going to offer our service to the whole, you know, and that's going to like impact your life in some way, because answers are going to come to that question, new answers, because you're going to be asking that question over and over. And we're going to be leading you layer by layer into the Pearl sequence. And as we do it, activating it collectively, and embodying it. And so, and our online retreats are awesome. You know, thanks to Elijah and our amazing team, and Tanmayo, and, you know, we have an incredible team of hosts, and whose service is whose dedication is to serve you during the retreat, you know, through community calls at different time zones, and kind of beautiful meditations with lovely music by the maestro over there, Theo. And yeah, it's a beautiful experience. So I really invite you to come and check out, to learn about it. You know, you can follow the links and kind of look into, find out about it. There's lots of information and lots of questions that are answered on our web pages about it, and you can see all the features, and it's based on this online course that is in a system called LearnDash that's really nice. It's really easy and elegant to follow. And there's a book, the Pearl book, and the book is integrated into the retreat. You can also buy a hardback, a copy if you want, but it's integrated in, and your Pearl sequence is integrated into the retreat, so it's kind of your Pearl sequence is the core of your retreat. So but it's yours, with your lines, your audios of your gene keys. It's personalized to you. So it's really clever how our system kind of personalizes around you. So you get to take this beautiful journey in company, and forums and ways of connecting, and, you know, it's wonderful. And I'm you know, we're even though we're kind of guiding it, us three, we're also participants, you know. So we're right in there with you in the chat rooms, in the forums, you know. Sometimes I'm always in the community calls personally, and if you're unlucky, you might end up in a room with me.
Your guys' virtual retreats are really beautiful and so connected. I mean, there's such a powerful community that gets built, and the energy of the community obviously helps us to go deeper into our own experience. And I really experienced that on the Venus sequence retreat. We had you guys on last October, and here we are again right before the launch of the Pearl retreat. And I know there are a few questions. We'll answer some questions after we finish the announcements. But I loved this, like what you're going to learn, you know, are creating a healthy relationship with monies. I think all of us are kind of considering really what's the purpose of money now in this new time, and how to prosper doing the things we love. I think we're all ready to do just our part, even not do more than our part, but actually really commit to doing the part we're here to do, and then find out who else we need to play with in order to do all the other parts required to fulfill our purpose and our vision, and asking that question of how can we be of the greatest service. I love that that's the core question that we're going to explore in the Pearl sequence, and also how to tap into the current. You know, I always my work is always around how do we live in the current of our purpose. And I think really that's what you're saying here. How do we live in the current of our natural state of prosperity, which I also believe is our natural state of coherence, and really being able to be with other people around the world. I know you guys had thousands of people joining in the retreat of the Venus sequence, and I assume there's going to be thousands of people together again. And there's something about the power of the community all together that really makes a difference. So there's links in the chat, and I'm going to put them in again. And if you use the link that we gave you, there's a little discount for the people who are on the Coherence Pulse community. So use that. I'm going to do the Pearl Retreat. And I feel like as a community, as we're cultivating greater coherence, there's something about this particular journey that I think is going to support us to take it to a whole new level in the next year coming up. So I hope you'll join me in the Pearl Retreat because I'm really excited to explore it. I'm going to share a few more announcements, and then I want to hear from Theo. He's going to do a little music for us, and then maybe these guys will stay on for a few minutes if you have some questions about the Pearl Retreat and joining.
You got muted, T. Hey, Teresa? Can you hear me? Oh. I guess the audio got muted. I don't know if she's...
I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Did you hear
There you go.
me?
No, you were muted that whole time. You might want to go back
The
a little.
whole time?
Well, not the whole time. Once you started doing the announcements.
Okay, great.
there on.
So the
Yeah.
first one was Saturday Night Alive. Thanks for letting me know, Theo. And that's on tonight. So if you want to join, I'll put a link in the chat. And Unify did a 2-part series with Richard, and the next one is on October 20th. So if you want to learn more, these are opportunities to do that. And it was wonderful. I'll put a link for the Unify session. And then Heart Math and Roland McCready are going to be participating in this resilience roadmap that's happening on the 25th. And then following that, Shift Network is doing something with energy medicine. So there's wonderful things, whatever you need right now, whatever question that's coming up for you, there's something that's being offered that you can find to serve you. And then one last thing, 1111 Unify Network is doing a gathering on 1111. And the theme this year is co-creating coherence. So another opportunity for us to participate together. And finally, if you want to be connected to a community of people that are choosing love over fear and want to be in a social network other than Facebook, perhaps, the Islands of Coherence is available to you. So I'll go ahead and put these links in the chat. And then Theo, maybe you can play a little music for us. And as I'm putting the links in the chat, and then if you guys are willing to stay on, if there's any questions about the Pearl Retreat, I really want to give people a chance to know what they need to know in order to jump in. So Theo. Oh, look, somebody signed up today, just today. Oh, look at that. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so glad you guys will join and participate. So Theo, let's hear from you.
Yeah, thank you, T. Thank you, Richard and Tanmayo, Elijah. It's so good to be here with you all. I just wanted to share, I have this beautiful instrument called a charango, and I brought it back from Peru. I recently went, well, actually at the beginning of this year, but it feels recent in my journey because I've been integrating this journey to Peru to pray with sacred plant medicines all year long. And this was a song that I wrote on that journey, and I don't think I've shared it with anyone yet, like in a big way like this. So this is the first time I'm really sharing it, and I'm sharing it because it's really a part of my process and my my healing journey to continue to share my gifts. And it can seem like someone like me, I do music for the Gene Keys, that I have it all figured out. You know, I've found a way to share my gifts, and I have to remind myself of this often, actually, because those programs, those viruses of scarcity, you know, follow us to the highest peaks, I think, until we really embody this true prosperity that is deeply in service and connected in that closed loop way where it's constantly giving back. And this journey to Peru was really a hero's journey, and so much was learned, and I brought back this little nugget for you both, and it's very connected to the Gene Keys. Sorry, for you all. So here it is. It's called The Present Moment. It's very similar in its message, but it carries the medicine of the mountains and this beautiful instrument from Peru, the charango, will help me out here. So here it is. Oh. There we go. What a gift it is, this present moment. What a gift to be in this present moment, like a flame illuminating our true nature, like a mirror reflecting everything is sacred. Everything is sacred. Everything is sacred. What a gift it is, this present moment. What a gift to be in this present moment, like a flame illuminating our true nature, like a mirror reflecting everything is sacred. Everything is sacred. Everything is sacred. Everything is sacred. All the pain and suffering, all the love, embracing all the pain and suffering, all the love, embracing everything. What a gift it is, this present moment. What a gift to be in this present moment.
Thank you, Theo.
Thank you,
Thank you
T.
so much. I love having you on these sessions. I know the community really loves you too. So I'm going to go ahead and close up on Facebook. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I put links in the chat for all of